The iPad mini 7 is coming. I bought the iPad Air 6, but I actually had to return it just because I knew that the iPad mini 7 is right around the corner. And while I was doing my research about it and finding out things about the new iPad mini 7, a few things came up that I found a little bit interesting that won't be on the iPad mini 7. So in this video, let's talk about the iPad mini 7, some of the features, but more importantly, some of the things that we're not going to get with the new iPad mini. Starting off with the display, as we all know, the iPad mini 7 has a smaller display than any other iPad. This time around with the iPad mini 7, it's going to have the exact same display as the previous iPad mini 6. It would have an 8.3 inch size display, which is the same as the last generation. But as mentioned in my last video, Apple is really interested in trying to get rid of the jelly scroll. And to do that, new leaks are confirming that the Apple will have a rotated screen assembly, meaning that there will be reduced jelly scroll. Now, to be honest, jelly scroll didn't really bother me too much. I didn't think it was a big deal when using it. I know a lot of people found it as a big problem. I didn't. But I think that one good fix to jelly scroll would be 120 Hertz, because I feel like you just won't notice the jelly scroll if you have a faster refresh rate on an iPad. And with that said, with the new iPad mini 7 that's coming up very soon, Apple is not going to be adding 120 Hertz promotion on that iPad. That means that if you're a digital creator or a mobile gamer, this is not going to be the iPad for you. It's going to be stuck at the same old 60 Hertz refresh rate, not 90 Hertz, not 100 Hertz, not 120 Hertz. It's not going to have promotion. It's going to be the same display as before. Going back to a size though, and one of the reasons why I did recently return the new iPad Air was just because I like the small size of the iPad mini. I feel like if you're juggling a lot of things, it's just easier to have an iPad mini on deck versus like a full screen iPad. And sticking with the subject of display, the next thing that the new iPad mini will not have is an OLED display. So with the new iPad Pro that just came out, the M4 one, that had Apple's newest version of an OLED display, and that's called the tandem display. I'm not going to go into the logistics of it, just know that it's one of the best looking displays that you're ever going to get on any piece of tech. It looks amazing. Blacks are truly black, and watching content on it is like very immersive. I tested it out and I'm gonna do a full video on that, so make sure to subscribe. But in general, that's one of the best displays ever, and it's not going to be on the new iPad mini 7 that's coming up, which kind of sucks because again, it's a smaller screen. It is good personally for me for watching content, especially when you're on the go, but you're not going to have that OLED display. And rest assured that an OLED display is going to be coming to the iPad mini 7, because according to the latest rumors and leaks, the 2026 version of the iPad mini will have an OLED display. Apple just kind of wanted to test it out with the new iPad Pro first before they put it into their basic iPads. And I'm not saying the iPad mini 7 is basic, but I just mean everything else besides the Pro. I can't lie though, having an OLED display on something this portable makes it amazing to watch content on the go. And moving on to speed and the chip inside the iPad, Apple is actually not going to include an M series chip in the new iPad mini, which kind of sucks, especially if you're looking for Final Cut Pro and doing mobile editing on a small display. You won't get the M series chip, and I don't think you're going to be able to do that. Instead, Apple is actually going to be adding the A17 Pro chip. That is the same chip in the iPhone 15 Pro. The A17 chip is one of the best and most powerful chips. Nobody thinks that any of the newer iPhones are slow, and it can probably run Final Cut Pro if Apple allowed it to, but I will say that all of the newer iPads, besides the basic iPads, now have an M something kind of chip, so you might be a little bit worried about that. But I think Apple had a logical reason for doing that. One of the reasons why I think it just makes sense for them to logistically not do it is because on such a small tablet, adding such a powerful chip might cause it to overheat. It does make sense to keep it with the A17 chip, and I feel like a lot of people that are buying this, I don't think that they're going to be doing any more intensive work than coding, maybe some light gaming, editing photos in Lightroom. You can still do that, so don't worry too much. The iPad mini will be released at one of Apple's upcoming events. I don't think it would be a press release like they did with the new MacBook Air. And according to leaks and rumors, it's either going to happen in September or October. Personally speaking, I do think it will happen in October. I think Apple will use the October event to announce a new MacBook, but also their new iPads, including the base model iPad and the iPad mini 7 that's coming up. So yeah, those are the things that the iPad mini won't have. And knowing those things, I still decided to return the Air just because, again, I like the small form factor. Did I make a mistake? Are you waiting for the iPad mini 7? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.